Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning view. What's going on, people? We are a day away from match day, so it's the lead up to the Real Sociedad game. We have to get through. We must win that game.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? No new stadium, no this, that, and the other glossing over. It'll be back to match day and all the stuff we've got to talk about in the future, which is great, which we're going to talk a little bit about in a minute. We are reminding you that, of course, it will be timed at some point very soon to lock back in to this current squad. Yeah. Because you got to take the little. That's why I've been so like the last couple of days. Oh, you know what? Yeah, there's that in the future. Because very, very quickly, you pivot back to now. Yeah, you pivot back to now. So shout out everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody. MA says finally Berrada is talking. So MA is very happy to see Berrada talking. Shane says good morning, lads.
Good morning.
Matty, good morning. Guildford Matty says says morning as well. Nikhil says hit the likes though while you're waiting. That was just before we went live. And Mr. Bojangles also says good morning. Oh, do you know what? That's one of my favorite ever songs, Mr. Bojangles.
Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah, well, not the original because reggae fan and stuff. John Holt, the John Holt version cover of that song. Mr. Bojangles, I knew
I wouldn't even know
baggy pants.
who's.
Yeah, I don't know who done the original.
The original singer. Yeah, that's what I was just
I don't know.
in. Original.
I always know the John Holt one. Court Star, John Holt. That's it. But it's original because John Holt done loads of covers.
Jerry Jeff Walker recorded on June 7th, 1968 in Memphis, Tennessee.
When was John Holt's one? His one must have been in the 80s then, maybe, or the late 70s, maybe. John Holt's been around for years. He's passed away now, but yeah, legendary singer. John Holt's cover must have been, I'd say, late 70s.
1973. 1973.
Oh, early. Okay, there you go. Right, well, music view is over. But shout out Mr. Bojangles, one of my favorite songs. Daniel Luciano says, let's get to a quick 100 likes, 100%. Let's do it. Berrada, the only one I trust. A little, says Yvonne. Right, let's get into it because Omar, actually, there's so much that's actually happened over the last 48 hours because it all, rest in peace, Coco T as well. Massive reggae artist. Really well respected. So many hits. One of my favorite reggae artists as well.
Oh, I saw that actually. I did see that.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorites. So yeah, shout out Aslan on that one. I feel like there's been so much that's happened. Yeah. So from the Sir Jim Ratcliffe interview day of just talking about everything, we didn't get time to fully take that in because strategically the announcement was the very next day. They were always going to announce a new stadium, you know what I mean? But maybe just the announcement was whatever. Then you're looking at that. And then even after that, there was the media day or the presentation day of it at the headquarters of the is it Foster's and whatever they're called, the people who make the stadium.
Yeah, the architects.
The architects, they had a big day for, all the press was there and a Q&A. That would have been nice to go to. We never get invited to things like that. Where's the fans? You know what I mean?
Foster and Partners is what it was. Foster and Partners. And it was funny. The big picture of the Stretford end, the new Stretford end, rather, which we were talking about yesterday. Going, it looks like it's only got it's way more than 2 tiers. But Bidder quote tweeted a United View tweet, and it's so true.
Funny.
I don't know if it's the fast, but it looks like a lot of red velvet cake. And it did. It did. Once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. When it does look like they've just handed out.
Surely the seats will be more red than that. They would
I think
have
so.
to, wouldn't they?
I think so.
They have to be our red. That's not our red.
But I didn't even notice initially. Like the goal is tiny compared to all of the seats. That'd be a huge stand.
Me and KG spoke about it yesterday. Everyone's still got their opinions. Loads of people don't like it online, but I'd say most people from online just having a little fish around. I think most people like it or like that we're getting a new stadium versus not. But for me, I'm really starting to like the look of it.
Me too. I was just about to say that it's growing on me, and I will push back for all of the chatter about one of the pushbacks of a new stadium was I don't want a soulless bowl. I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want it to look all the same. You cannot look at that design and say that, oh yeah, it looks like all the other stadiums around the world. Like it does look different. Like whether you think it looks like a circus tent or what have you, it looks different. And the more I look at it, And the more I sort of see the videos and the concept or whatever, the more unique actually I think it looks. And actually seeing that the trident light up at night, illuminate the night sky with sort of the red trident, and actually the walkway is like a trident as well. I thought I just think it looks brilliant. I'm gonna be honest with
you. I do think it looks really good. Obviously, the rivals, everyone's just going to say, circus and butlins, and as soon as you have a tent-like thing, especially in this country, because it's not been seen before, so people just will just laugh at it and stuff. But the days there's test events and the days where people start to see how amazing it is, everyone will be. Even all the maybe old school fans that are like absolutely not this, that, even them, they will be like, bloody hell, wow,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And when it's loud and you create a new atmosphere and a new history, I think people will forget about the fact it's got the circus tents and stuff, and people will just be like, wow, this is amazing. But yeah, so the Omar Berrada thing. So even after that, Omar Berrada's been talking a lot. So there were even quotes from that, which we're not even really discussing today, because he was saying about how it's going to be paid for and doesn't really want to commit to saying it's being paid for like this. He's just doing the whole, there's many options on the table. We see it as a very, very attractive investment opportunity, et cetera, et cetera. So they are looking at ways to finance it, but they've gone through ahead with announcing it. So they know what they're doing, but I think they're just holding back on confirming it's this way and it's that way. But there has been confirmation that taxpayers won't be paying for it. There was this notion that, they're just going to try and they got no money and then everyone else is going to have to pay for us. That's not happening. So if you're looking to just moan for the sake of moaning, you can take that one off of your thing. But they have put a lot of faith in Ruben Amorim. That's really what we want to talk about. INEOS have put 100% faith in Amorim. If you go back to the Sir Jim interview, he was saying about, he's 100% going to be here. I think he'll be here for a long time as well. And Omar Berrada was saying we would love to have this new stadium with Ruben Amorim in it.
Yeah, exactly. And it was, like you said, it was interesting to hear Omar Berrada talk, because we've seen quotes and stuff like that from him before, but not necessarily like full-fledged interviews or anything like that from the Manchester United CEO. Now, as Flex mentioned, Omar Berrada, when talking more about the stadium as opposed to just specifically about Ruben, but he said, we'd love to open the new stadium with Ruben Amorim as the head coach. Now, he did give a rough timeline suggesting that United would look to open this stadium around, was it the 2030 to 2031 season? So that's about 5 years' time. So the suggestion is, 5 years' time, we'd love for Ruben still to be the head coach. And if he is the head coach in 5 years' time, that would be longer than any manager post-Ferguson, wouldn't it? So that would suggest, that there had been at least elements of success during Ruben Amorim's period there at Manchester United. And I will say, actually, because like you said, it kind of came off the back of what Sir Jim was saying about him. Sir Jim was very clear. That was one of the things I found quite reassuring, actually, from the Sir Jim interview, was that he's very much a fan of Ruben Amorim. And whether it's him talking about the regrets of maybe not sacking Ten Hag or the Ten Hag's involvement in the recruitment process, even name drops. So he kind of signed a couple of Dutch players in there.
Yeah, he did. He did drop that one. Yeah, he said it was heavily influenced by a couple of Dutch players. Oh.
I did get the impression, I mentioned after, it was during the Everton game when we were 2-0 down at Goodison. I thought, this is just getting worse and worse. And then I started to get Paul Merson settings. I worry for Ruben here.
Yeah. I worry for him. I really do.
I worry for him. You know what I mean? I worry for him because it felt like it's getting a bit worse, and they might have to pull. And they're not afraid to admit they've made a mistake, as we've seen, and pull the trigger on getting rid of a mistake. I
needed to hear that from them. I needed to hear it.
But to hear them be like, we're actually very, very happy with it, and not like in the way that Ten Hag, because he did get backed publicly earlier this year. Remember when Omar Berrada and Dan Ashworth did those statements to the media? It was before the Liverpool game, but it came out after the Liverpool game. We
can't wait to work with him and continue this project. And,
100%. And it was like,
it is a load of bollocks. It can always be a load of bollocks.
Of course. But no, I just thought it was interesting to hear Omar Berrada speak, because having watched now interviews of him, he picks his words very, very carefully, and he doesn't talk that much. His answers are very short. Like when he does interviews, like he'll just, it's an investment opportunity, and we're really hopeful for the future. And you can tell
he was very to the they're trying to prize out of him. But I think the briefing in their thing is, do not give anything away about this. Very politician-like, if we're being honest.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like he doesn't. like sometimes, I mean, you've done it, you've interviewed people. Like some
Yeah.
people, all you have to do is ask a question. They'll talk for 3 or 4 minutes. It's easy. You don't even have to do all that much. And then there are some people which you'll ask a question and they will answer the question in a sentence. And then you go, it puts you on your toes a little bit because you go, oh, I hadn't even thought about what I was going to answer next. So I was going to wait for the conversation to carry on, and it hasn't really done that. And I thought that was very interesting. And again, I don't know if that's like his personality type, or I don't know if that's just because, like you said, it was like it's early stages, don't really have a lot of the answers at the moment. So
I think like what Compost is saying there, because of NDA or can't say now, but prepared answers. I think that with the finer details of how you're going to pay for it, who's paying this, what company's doing that, they're not going to speak about that. They're not going to speak about that yet. Those things I think will come out in due course, and they won't be announced as well. Like I don't think there'll be people that are getting financial records and financial stuff rather than Man United going, meet JP Morgan. They're paying for our stadium. Like, it's not going to be that. But there will be financial information that will get released and the press will be all over it and the Athletic will get an exclusive, or, as it starts to filter out when things are like rubber stamped. But put it this way, because I think the concern is that, I mean, we're kind of not talking about Ruben here, but I think the concern is that from fans, like 1958 are saying, who's going to pay for this? What's going on? Just the executive. The concern is that, are you just going to keep putting up ticket prices so we pay for a stadium? But I think you have to be a bit realistic with that. Putting up the season tickets from, up to £66 or whatever it's going to be, ain't going to be enough to finance a stadium in 5 years. Like, it's not. Like, unless you charge fans £300 a game, £500 a game. Like, do you know what I mean? It's 2 billion quid. Like, I think the price, when the price, I'll say when, because I do think he said it will go up again, but not by much, and we'll try and keep it under 16. So they're prepping us. We know what's happening. The reason that's happening is not to pay for the stadium. The reason that's happening is, like he said, to take care of the pennies, to take care of the pounds, etc. We're spending too much. We have to maximize and tighten things up. It isn't we need this new shiny new stadium. Let's hoodwink the fans and make them pay for it. That's not what it is.
That was an odd narrative that came out yesterday, which
I don't get that.
Look at Manchester United announcing this stadium to distract everyone from the failings.
Yeah.
You sort of go, well, even an announcement and the planning, the designing, etc., and also government approval, that isn't something you can just pull out your back pocket and just go, we're going to do it tomorrow, just to distract everyone. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, an interview, like Sergeant Ratcliffe doing an interview, you can do that pretty quickly. And that absolutely can be labeled as, well, that part of that's a bit of spin and part of that's a bit of PR, blah, blah, blah. Fair enough, because that's what interviews are. It's public relations. It's PR. But the stadium stuff, that's been in the works since INEOS
straight away,
literally since like they came in.
They assembled a task force with Seb Coe.
Like, exactly,
it's been a whole. Seb Coe headed up the thing with loads of people. Exactly. So that's not like click your fingers and like, I tell you what, whenever, keep this in the back pocket. So when it gets a bit negative, drop this. It's not that.
Yeah, exactly. Having worked in marketing and stuff like that, and put on, event days or what have you. Again, that's months of planning, months of planning. Someone says there in the chat, the creation of the model itself, it takes months.
Yeah, you can't just roll that out in 2 days.
No, booking the venue, getting it takes ages. Like,
they were always going to hold that day.
Yeah, so all of that kind of stuff like that. That takes a lot of time. So that's not spin. And I think the people that are like, that's yesterday. They're distracting, blah, blah, blah. I just saw it as there was a lot of legitimate questions, and I think really valid questions, like you say,
there are.
Because it doesn't look. It's not a great look where on the Monday, you've got Jim Ratcliffe doing an interview with lots of different outlets saying at the end of 2025, we'd have run out of cash. And then the very next day, go, we're building a stadium. It's 2 billion quid. Everyone's going, where does that come from? How are you going to pay for it? Where's the money come from? These are valid questions. But I think just to write it off as just, it's all this 4D chess to distract people from failings on the pitch, I don't think that's completely accurate. If anything, I think that's a massive oversimplification. And these are things that we have asked for, with the new stadium and what we want this, we should be doing this, we should be like this, we should be like that. And then steps are done to make us like that, and we push back on it. And I was thinking about it. I was coming to the conclusion of that. I think it's just that with the stadium, it's drastic change versus gradual change, and drastic change is quite difficult to accept, because when you look at the stadium now, Old Trafford, the narrative of I won't recognize this club in 5 years because the stadium's changed. Well, I would think, I wasn't around in the 70s, obviously, but if you went and attended Old Trafford in the 60s and 70s, that stadium that's currently there, Smack Busby Way, is not reminiscent of the stadium that was there in the 60s and 70s. It's on the same location. There are elements that are the same because they built on top of it and renovated it.
You feel like it's the same.
But you look at it, you'd be like, that's a lot of change. That's a massive amount of change. But because it's gradual, it's easier to palate, easier to digest, and it's on the same place. It's a technicality. But when it's just like, shocking, jarring of it's not going to be here, we're going to be here, completely brand new. I think it's just that's more difficult to take. Yeah, it's difficult to take, but it's life.
I think there's a really interesting piece. I was just catching up on it to bring some of you guys some quotes or just a little bit of insight. Andy Mitten, of course, we all know Andy Mitten, amazing journalist, and he's done it. He's done a piece about how he feels about it. And I think this is really interesting. It shows you, because we all support the same team, but we all have different strands and different connections of how we support the team and what the team means to us and different experiences of supporting the team. So somebody who is, like Andy Mitten and the ties he has to the club and what he's done in his career and as a fan of the club is way different to someone like me who, growing up, I couldn't go to Old Trafford. I went a couple of times here and there. Very rarely did I go until I was in my 20s. Couldn't afford to, couldn't get up there. Didn't drive, single parent household, mum couldn't drive. Like, there's so much stuff of why I couldn't have that affiliation of going to and obviously location and demographic as well. But he said, I feel conflicted and optimistic, sad and excited about the news that Man United plan to build a new ground. So I understand that. There are so many questions. The first being, how will it be paid for? And if it is built, as I suspect it will it still be affordable to rank and file United fans, the bedrock of the club's support, the people who are there for every game and not just the glamour ties. I stand on Smack Busby Way every month, and I've seen a huge change in the demographic of those attending United games. But there is still plenty of what some might call legacy fans and others might call locals. I don't want them to be dynamically priced out of any new home. 1,000-seater capacity is bold, but the demand is there. United are big enough to go head-to-head with Barcelona and their 105-seater revamp of the new camp. I remember taking a Barca fan to Old Trafford in 2008, he says, and he was struck by how small it was. He expected better. I expected better of him, but he was entitled to his view. So just look, it's a much bigger piece, but just from that beginning part, he's, what Andy's alluding to, which he's a part of that. He's a part of that community of fans that do have that affiliation of being local, and he's putting in quotes, locals or legacy fans. You can, whatever you want to call that demographic of fan, that are from round the corner. They've gone there all their life. Their grandparents, their uncles, their sisters, their brothers, their cousins, they've all gone there all their life. It's a family thing. We go to Old Trafford on a Saturday at 3 p.m. We've got 4 to 5 season tickets in our family. That's what we've always done. Mm-hmm. He's saying that he's worried that those fans will get priced out. It's not going to be as accessible to those fans. And that's where I think Man United have a duty. Of course, this is where you can't go too far on the commercial side by, like you say, just putting the ticket prices for this brand new stadium that aren't really in the affordable range anymore. If it's £100 every single ticket, if there's no ticket less than 100, we're in big trouble. Would we probably fill out the stadium? Probably, to be fair, from people. But that's where he's right. Your average working class fan that is from the area of Manchester, or just, again, working classes around the UK, because it's, he's talking about people who can get there every week. That's difficult. That you have to make it accessible to basically people in the UK with the cost of living and wages and stuff. It has to fall in line with that. I'm saying you can't price out any fan. Rich people, rich people who can afford hospitality boxes and lounges and suites and the very best of the best. That's fine. You also have to cater to that market because it's a large part of your revenue. Fine. But you absolutely have to make sure that your average fan, your average person who just wants to just get a season ticket or be a member and get tickets where they can still afford it. I do get that.
Yeah, and Andy Mitton kind of says it in his sort of summary on his tweet for it when he says, I'm okay with a redevelop or a new stadium, but something needs to be done, but it'll be heartbreaking to see it go. So, and that's a basic, and I think that kind of sums up how I feel about it, to be honest with you, which is obviously when you lose anything that has the history of Old Trafford or even sort of the surrounding areas, like, it's sad because there are histories and their memories attached to it, but you can't let sentiment override that, at the expense of falling behind the times and having yourselves lapped by other people. And like you said, that's not to say that just because you're happy with it and just because you like the design, which I do, that means that all of those questions, like you mentioned about ticket pricing, how are you going to pay for it? How's the club going to pay for it? Is it going to set us back even worse financially over the next decade or even longer, et cetera, et cetera? They're all perfectly valid questions. And just because you like the design, that doesn't mean that you don't want to talk about those questions, because you're going to have to talk about those questions. But once again, two things can be true at the same time. You can think that, yeah, we do need this new stadium. Like, it's time versus, but there are real concerns about it. It's not just blind faith, blind excitement.
100%.
Because it can't be, because it's so complicated and so big that, and especially with our situation, it would be one thing. And let's say we did get taken over by the Qataris and all the debt was wiped out and they went, we're building a new stadium. We probably wouldn't have a lot of conversations going, oh, where are we going to pay for it? Where's it going to come from? What's going to happen?
Because you're financially viable and you're not going to have to fit the bill for that. It's paid. There's no debt.
But there are so many questions.
Debt-free, we can go forward. 100%.
Exactly.
Red Baron says, it's unique, but you can't please everyone. 100%. Me and KG were talking about this essay. You'll never get one design that everyone goes, that's the one. Yeah. That is the one. Agreed. Go for it. That is every 100%. You can't even do that with flipping, what flavor
trainers.
You like. Your trainers. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that with anything. You can't. That's in life. There's never one said answer for anything. When it's down to opinion. Ken says, let the cavemen stay in their cave, full speed ahead. And Red Baron says, agree with Broderick. It looks like Mordor, but you guys wouldn't know that, would you? It's fitting considering we are the Reds/Red Devils.
Mordor, that's a Lord of the Rings reference, I believe.
Mordor. What is that? Oh, it looks like fictional continent in the middle earth. Mordor is the
big
realm.
Towers with the big isn't that
Images,
what it was?
Yeah. Oh, right, it's got big towers. Right, okay, yeah, I can see that. Right. So they're saying it stands like you can see it from far. Big towers and okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But why is that befitting? Because what is that? I don't know about Lord of the Rings. It's fitting considering we are the Red Devils. Red Baron, let us know why
it's fitting maybe fitting for I don't know, fucking man.
Yeah. let us Red Baron, I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings apart from a guy with a long white beard. So yeah, let us know what you mean by that bit, but big up to you. Joseph says, didn't expect Omar to have American accent. Yeah, he's got a bit of a twang, isn't it? Like,
I didn't I always assumed that he was like Spanish, but he's not.
Spanish,
he was born in Paris. He's of Moroccan descent through his parents. He grew up in the United States and he attended business school in Spain. So yeah, I think that's where all of that comes from. But yeah, he's the way he answered questions, it'd be like, so Omar, investment opportunities, yeah, definitely something we're looking into.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. They went, so what would that look like? Be a very interesting opportunity. All right.
Yeah, we think this is very attractive opportunity for investment.
Very attractive, yep.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. All right. Okay.
So you're not ruling out that fans will have to pay for this? And what did he say? He said, like, at this stage, we're considering all the options.
Considering all the options, or could this have a setback on recruitment? It's a risk, but we look to avoid it.
Yeah. But then when Omar's been speaking about like the team or whatever, he doesn't really do interviews on the spot, to be fair. He usually just releases statements. So yeah, it's interesting. Red Baron says Liverpool been given the most pens this year. Maybe Amorim should do a Klopp and complain to the media so the refs are more cautious of giving them. Yeah, great game last night. Brilliant game, brilliant watch. PSG, well done. Hold that, AGT. Doing the rounds on Monday's show. Same. Robbie done a proper. Hold on, wait a minute. You just said you're waiting for them in the next round is you. I think you.
No, wait a minute. Wait.
Alex, you just said waiting for them in the next round will be waiting for Villa will be you. So it's a definite against PSG then. Wait a minute. What? Yeah. What at Anfield? Are you really asking me that? No. What? Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm saying we're through to the quarterfinals. I can say that. But are you saying there's a definite you're going to beat PSG? A definite? Yes. It's at Anfield, right? Hold that. Then he tries to come on some humble tweeting thing. Fair play to PSG over 2 legs. They really deserve it. Really hope they go on to win. Tweeted him straight away. Humble don't suit you, mate. Don't try and play that. Humble don't suit you. In the group, what can I say? Just wasn't our night. It happened. No. You were on the internet saying you're definitely going through, taking them PSG man for idiots, and hold that. Hold tight Nunes pen. Hold tight Curtis Jones
and everyone always does it every year, don't they? Like they're in competitions like March, and that turns into we're going to win the treble or we're going to win the quadruple, and no one ever really does, do they? You know what I mean? And I messaged you during the game last night, actually.
Yeah.
Watching PSG play, I saw the Luis Enrique vision when it came to Manuel Ugarte. Now, I like Ugarte. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's rubbish. He's this, that, and the other. But I can see the reasonings for why he
can't play in that team.
It's no disrespect, Manuel, but you can't play in this team with that midfield, with how technically proficient he wants his midfielders to be. Manuel Ugarte wouldn't fit in that team. In the same way that if Luis Enrique became Man United manager and he went, I need my midfielders to be able to play ball, he'd be in big trouble. He'd be in big. If he wanted Man United to play how PSG play, he'd be done.
Mate, we're lucky he doesn't, because I know we say, changing the system, it don't suit the players. Try that. Try all action. Try pressing at every moment and being really good on the ball, and the amount of times, which is so refreshing. It should be a basic requirement of a central midfielder, but we see it so rarely in today's game. So these players stick out like a sore thumb. The amount of time I see João Neves and Vitinha pass forward between the lines so many times, and how many times they want the ball under pressure. It was just, that's how I like my football to be played. It's so refreshing. And I was jealous. I was just like, obviously, I remember when João Neves was on the market from Benfica, was it?
Yeah, Benfica,
yeah. And everyone was talking about 100 million euros. João Neves. And you just see how good he is. And Vitinha, I thought that for a hot minute as well.
Kvaratskhelia as well. Like,
the end product wasn't always there, but he's just like,
the more you see him,
can't get near him.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's top. And like, playing in a better team, you go, I tell you what. And that's not like he hasn't won stuff. He's already won. Serie A, but he's proper.
And I have to say, Mendes, fucking hell, man. If you you talk about a left back, I mean, if he was a left wing back for us or along those lines, someone as rapid as that, he just locked up Salah. It was a good battle. To be fair, Liverpool, again, see Salah clutch, going to win the Ballon d'Or, all of this stuff. Them first 2 chances, man. Like, I know the first one got blocked. It's could say something. Got to make sure you score that. And the other one, he's put it wide. That's Salah, cash money, those chances. Then after that, we didn't really see him. You know what I mean? So, and Dembele's penalty, he's always been 2-footed. And I think with Dembele, again, remember when we were linked with him, it's like, no, he's just injury prone. Don't you dare go near him. And this is why even then I was saying with the injury thing, you gotta, it's a chance, isn't it? Do you think you can get a better version of that player? Because if you can do this. And obviously the manager, like he's got into him, he's got a new role for him. He can play up front, he can play on the right, he can play in the hole.
Well, at one point as well, it was like doubts about his future because he was left out of the squad for one of the Champions League games earlier on the season, and it was like, a bit of discipline, and the player actually listens to the coach. He would have fought it,
I know. Look at that, and they just move on.
Exactly.
Mentality, freedom. But right, what was we doing? Oh yes, the recruitment. Berrada talked about recruitment.
Yes,
yeah.
this is quite interesting. When him talking about
oh wait, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah,
Just over 1,100 people watching. Let's have a push on the lights because actually been forgetting. There's been so much to talk about in the recent shows. I've forgotten to kind of, and you guys have forgotten, which is quite rightly so. There's so much going on. We're at 276 likes, so let's get to that 300. And then let's push on from there. Super chat just come in as well. Get your super chats in. We'll get those read out for you straight away. This super chat is from, actually, that's members chat. Member for 32 months, Andy. Thank you for your unwavered support, bro. UV is special. You guys been with me through ups and downs, from grandpa passing away to now this year, me getting married, many more years ahead. Big up to you, Andy.
Big up,
Claps
Andy.
in the chat. Yeah. Shout out, Andy.
Yeah.
Congratulations. There you go, bro. Congratulations, man. Happy married life to you and the missus. And yeah, enjoy. And there you go, from your grandpa passing away to there you go, full circle, man. So the ups and downs of life, bro. The ups and downs of life. Big up to you, Andy. But yes, Owen, sorry.
Wow, before you do that, K Flow's also gifted 5 memberships as well.
Oh, there you go. Hold on a sec. Wait a minute. Right there. K Flow has gifted 5 UV memberships. Who are the beneficiaries? Let me Clayton Daniels, big up to you. Glory Man United. Vibav, shout out to you. Carl, you've got one as well. And Siam Piro has also been gifted one, and Mark Harris has been gifted one too. So big up K Flow. Just showing the love. There's a little bit of positivity around. It's just, I do feel, I have to say this, guys, before we get to the next thing. I do feel, we know we talked about this the other day, just whether you listen, it's always glazes out. That's another thing that's annoyed me about this.
Daniel Luciano's now gifted 5 memberships there as well.
What's happened there? It's all going off.
It's all going off. Where's the button? Where's the button?
Get the button. It's all going off. Shout out to Eguso. Shout out to Basix. Shout out to Colin. Who else has got one there? Shout out to Johnny Quest as well. And Sulai as well. Loads of people getting involved. That's at least 10 of you that are in there as well. So big up to you. Red Baron says, seen some mullets around Manchester. Yay or nay? Bit random. No, I'm not a mullet fan.
No, I'm not a mullet fan.
Yeah, shout out when we went to Australia a couple of times.
Yeah, that was a thing coming out of like the pandemic and stuff like that. The mullet like returned, didn't it? I'm still around, but yeah.
You're gonna grow one, Owen? You're gonna get a little mullet? You're gonna Nah.
Kidding me? I'm lucky to hold on what I've got. Like, no chance.
No mullet. Okay. No. Okay.
What
the
about
sides of the mullet's crazy.
You gotta go. No. I think KG should try.
Yeah, KG could try. I'm on wing back patrol. I'm just policing the wing backs. Obviously, we play with wing backs now, so I'm just adjusting.
Yeah.
KG.
I play with I play with a bit of a high line myself. So
yeah. No mullets around here. No mullets. Bro, where was we? Oh, just quickly before you get to the Amorim, Berrada bit. Sorry, we have noticed that the last couple of days it has felt a little bit more positive, and I think people should be allowed to do that. Some people are like, "Oh, you blinded by a shiny new toy. It's always glazes out. You're the problem." Shut up. Like people who say that. Oh, sorry. Shut up. Like you're just talking crap.
As Eric Ten Hag once said,
stupid.
Because if you think by celebrating a little bit of the future means that you're just okay with the Glazers being there, then you're just being silly. Like, at the end of the day, the Glazers clearly aren't going anywhere. So if they're going to stay, I'd rather there be some plans for the future. I'd rather there be a new stadium. I'd rather there be plans to help change us rather than us be where we were 2 years ago, just before the World Cup.
Where it's like, you're allowed to experience different emotions. You know what I mean? There can be... Yes, like things to be negative about, or things to be upset about, but also there can be in the midst of negativity, there can be things to be positive about. There can be things to be like, I tell you what, that's an exciting project. That's an exciting stadium, or that's something to look forward to. You've always got to have hope, haven't you? And if you've got hope, if you've got something to hold on to,
exactly,
then that can pull you through some of the dark times, can't it? You know, or some of the negative times are going. At least
we may as well just stop supporting. We may as well
exactly. At least we've got that North Star to look towards.
Exactly. Like, what's the point? And even I tell you what, don't watch the games. And we won a game. It's Glazers out, so you're happy with this. No, I'm not happy with this. Like someone said, we're 14th. Of course I'm not happy. But we turn up every time we watch our team because we support our team. Even the protests. They protest to make their voices heard, and absolutely. Then they go in to the game and support the team. Like, two things can be... The 1958 aren't going, like, we're going to boycott all the games and not go to Old Trafford. Why is that not a thing? That's not a thing because you're a Man United fan. Like, we support the team.
I'm cancelling my Sky subscription now. I'm never going to watch football ever again. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not going to be that.
Exactly. I don't get. And then I think because we have been so bad. There's a bit of like you don't know how to experience any little shining light, so you're stuck in this negativity where all you want to do is be negative. Every little thing that happens, negative. Even when we were saying, I tell you what, I have to say, De Ligt in the last couple of months, it's been terrible for the whole team, but he's settling down. He's doing well. Lenny Yoro's got his feet under the carpet now. He looks all right. He's growing. We're 14th. What's wrong with you? Your standards are on the floor. Man, I'm just saying that individual has improved. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. Some people just want to be negative all the time.
Also, Flex, keeping him with some positivity. And this is going to be difficult to try and to be positive about this one. We've got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Mason Mount's back in training. So, Laurie Whitwell just a few minutes ago said Mason Mount's returning to team training after 3 months out. He suffered a hamstring injury during the Manchester derby at the Etihad on December 15th. He's been working his way back to fitness. United have been careful with the 26-year-old due to his issues since joining the club and have taken their time to bring him back into full sessions. Mount is not expected to be ready to feature against Real Sociedad on Thursday, but his reintegration to the squad is a sign he's nearing action again.
Listen,
do
you know what though? I feel like this has come at a time where I was just talking about being.
This is going to test it. It's going to test it. Yeah,
it's going to test it because I don't want to be the person that I was just talking about, which is you just were. However, I do think there are times where we can sort of all agree of like, well, let's just don't go extra for that. Just leave that. Just
good to have some people back, so
just like hopefully he can stay fit.
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he will, but it's just kind of like it's good to have back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about recruitment. Recruitment.
Recruitment.
Omar Berrada carried on talking about things yesterday. And he said, and this is actually somewhat backing of Ruben Amorim. He said, I think it's riskier if you have a coach that doesn't have a clear idea of how he wants to play. And with Ruben, we don't see that as a risk. He was kind of talking about this, maybe the mistakes of the past with recruiting under Erik ten Hag, because things changed. They thought they were playing Ajax way, then they were playing a different way, etc., etc. He said, when it comes to our recruitment strategy, without commenting too much, because again, he doesn't want to comment too much, the idea we have is to be able to bring in versatile players that can be adaptable to multiple systems. He then said, and ultimately, Ruben himself has said it, it's not about the 3-4-3 tactical formation. It's about an idea, a concept of how he wants to see the team playing. He wants to see the team playing more on the front foot, more of a possession, attacking-based style of football. So for that, you need players that can play multiple positions, that can adapt to that vision that Ruben has. And this is what we're going to try and do over the next years in our recruitment. So effectively saying, look, it's not going to be like it was in the past where certain players are brought in specifically because, they've worked with the manager before, or because they can only play in this position. They can only play in this system. If we have to change things, we have to change things, but the players will be able to adapt, because as we've seen with this current group of players, when Ruben Amorim's come in mid-season and said, I want you to play something different, I want you to play in different positions, they cannot do it. Zero. They can't do it. And I think Omar Berrada's kind of hinting at, well, that's actually a bit of a failing in recruitment then, that they can't change. We've bought players that are stuck in a certain style of way. And when you do make changes, or you have to adapt, not necessarily because of the manager, but maybe because of the game, because of just tactics or what have you, because of injuries, these players can't do it and we get worse. So we should be signing multifunctional players
Yeah,
instead.
and I think actually, if we're honest, I'm not saying the last summer was the best. We all looked at it at the time and thought, okay, that's all right actually. Mazraoui and De Ligt for a combined price of that, Ugarte for that. At the time, we were like, Xerxes, okay, let's have a look. Young, let's see. And Euro, of course. There is a little bit of evidence of that, of them being adaptable. You look at Lenny Euro, he's played left centre back, he's played right centre back. Different. Like he's adaptable. You look at Mazraoui, obviously very adaptable. He's played left wing back, right wing back, left centre back, right centre back, 10. He's played everywhere. De Ligt has had to adapt. Ideally, he'd probably want to be the central defender in the system.
He's played right centre back before.
He's played right centre back quite a lot. And Xerxes,
even Dorgu.
Dorgu is a perfect example.
He's played left wing back, right wing back. He's played as a left back before at Lecce too.
Yeah, and a right winger at Lecce as well.
Yeah.
We're going after Kienda. We know how adaptable he is. We just looked at what he's been doing. He's been playing left 10 recently for Sporting. He's been playing left 10. He's been playing right wing back, left wing back, etc., etc. So that fits the mold of what we're going after for sure. Of course, when you get an actual number 9, that might be a bit different. It's like, no, you're the striker, mate. But the rest of it, Ahmad, he's been adaptable, right wing back, right 10. Bruno's dropped into the 6 now, adaptable. Or we're seeing that. Dalot hasn't quite grasped it, but he's had to do it. So the demands of being adaptable, he hasn't taken to it.
That's a statement.
Just, got to be positive. Hasn't managed to grasp it, but he's been adaptable. Like everyone in this system is being asked to do different jobs.
Aiden Heaven.
Aiden Heaven.
It was winter window. That's
winter window as well. So he's adaptable. Can play left centre back and normal centre back as well. So he's got to adapt into a 3. So look, I see a little bit of it, and it's refreshing to hear that we are going down that road, because it's like, so what are you going to do? Sign all these 3-4-3 players. So if Ruben gets sacked, we just got a bunch of wing backs. You don't know how to play fullback, or you got a bunch of inside 10s who can't be wingers. You don't want that. Garnacho, look how much he's adapting, to the role. It's kind of weird seeing Garnacho, like, even still now. I know it's been a while now since Ruben's come, but like, it's still weird seeing Garnacho start from sort of inside to out, or spend a lot of time in central areas in the pockets, and then sometimes find himself on the wings. It's still quite weird.
Also, like, we said this at the start, and it's become more and more true. Like, it is kind of bullshit, that whole thing of like, because as you see with that 3-4-3 that Ruben plays, one of the 10s does basically play as a winger. So when Garnacho plays or starts, he's basically
he's still out there. Which is why Ruben's right in saying, you're saying it's 3-4-3 or this, that thing. But the principles are still there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It changes, or it's 3-4-3, but we played against Arsenal at the weekend. It was more 5-4-1, really, wasn't it? It was a flat back 5, get behind the ball. So that is where I do agree. Like, there is a lot, maybe too much made about the whole 3-4-3 wing backs, blah blah blah. Because you're like, well, sometimes it's a back 5, and there are points in the game for 10 minutes. It'll actually more be like a back 4, because one of the wing backs, sometimes Dalot or Mazraoui, they invert and they're an extra body in midfield. So it changes there. So it's a bit too much focus on that, I think, really. But that's what Omar Berrada is kind of saying there, is that, of course, in the game, you are going to switch, and you are going to have to come up with different tactical situations of, this person's going to come on, so that person has to move here, or because of, I don't know, we're 1-0 down, we're going to put more people forward. So I need my player to be not just a defender, he can also be an attacker, like I said, a bit like Kenda or something. So they need to find those kind of players, and also balance that up with, we want to make sure we're not overpaying for that versatility either. And maybe that comes with, actually, the most versatile players might be younger players, because we can mold them into adapting into these different positions. Because if we buy someone that's too established, that only knows one way of playing, one position, we're not really looking for that.
We don't need
that's not really for us. So maybe that's what they're saying.
Apart from, like I said, the number 9 might just be that. You got to be a number 9 and just score. But even that, we might get someone adaptable. Who knows? But I think, that's, to me, that's refreshing to hear that, because for far too long, like and look, so Jim was saying it in the thing, like recruitment, like, it's overspent, overpaid, this, that, and the other. You've got to start getting people that are right for the club, regardless of who the manager is. You're not meant to just sign players for the manager. That's one part of it. If a manager has a system, of course, but you have to sign players that can outlast the manager. You have to sign players that are adaptable. If you just buy good quality players, it doesn't matter who the manager is. You give them good tools to work with. So that's not just blindly backing Amorim to say, get him everything he needs for his system only. You can't do that. We've been there. We've done it. We've done it with Eric. Look, you know what I mean, we've done it with Jose, and look, we've done it. We have done it. I'm all for that. Red Baron, Bahir says they should try to raise funds from fans without raising ticket prices, sell a naming right to a seat or a section in the new stadium, for example. Yeah, there's ways.
Omar Berrada was definitely hinting at that. Like, you know, I know at the moment it's kind of loosely been called New Trafford, but the way he was sort of hinting was that they'll look to private investors to be like, you know, again, like naming rights. They wouldn't be shocked if, for instance, they went to someone like Snapdragon and went, hey, build a new stadium. How in do you want to be? Yeah. You know what I mean, whether it's Snapdragon Stadium, I know that one already exists, but something like that, a version of, or, you know, there can be Snapdragon Suites or in there, or you can have 100%. One of the local amenities. You know, they'll be going around pitching to all of these big companies, investors you can possibly think of. I'm sure even those people that were involved, if they went back to the people that helped the Glazers with the strategic review of alternatives, and they went to some of those companies and went, look, I know you didn't buy into the club, it was maybe a bit beyond you, blah blah blah, but we're building a new stadium. You interested? You want to be involved in that project?
100%. You know? And one thing we know about Man United commercially is that we've been this bad, but look at us commercially. You know, it hasn't been enough recently because has been that bad. But the commercial interest still is there, always will be at Man United, especially with a new. Again, this opportunity is attractive. What, you get a new 100k stadium? What a thing! What of all that then going on? Right, let's talk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why we have to get a new thing in the first place to attract these people. Because right now you look at Old Trafford, you're not going to attract that. Clayton says fully behind a new stadium, yet to warm up to the design. Fair play. I think a lot of people are in that place. Watched PSG last night. It's depressing how far behind we are. Team needs major improvement. I do that a lot when I watch decent teams. Because also, like when I was watching that midfield and bopping it, and I go, imagine we played PSG now, boy. Oh, bloody hell. Imagine we played Bayern. Imagine we was in the Champions League playing these teams. So it's like, when Europa League gets Champions League, like, it's more for the money than we can actually compete to win it.
But that PSG now, when you watch them last night, they're a good example of, because obviously, look, they did the Galacticos thing for ages, Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, and they took a massive step back where they said, look, that doesn't work. It's about the collective, about recruitment. We can buy anyone, but let's buy the right people. We're going to have to buy the right people. We're going to have to completely back the coach, i.e. Luis Enrique. He's going to build a team, not a team of superstars, just a team. And if he doesn't want people, i.e. Manuel Ugarte, that we just signed a year ago for a lot of money, then we'll get rid of him. We'll find a solution. That's what we'll do. We'll recruit, predominantly French-based players and players that are going to do well domestically as well. And they've committed to that and stuck with that. And that's a big step for them because, you know, you watch them sort of last season. They weren't as good last season, PSG, and it was like, well, I tell you what, they're a bit miles off what they were a few years ago. It feels like getting to Champions League semi-finals, maybe, or finals under Thomas Tuchel. But now you're starting to see the dividends of it. And that's when it comes back to strategy, sticking to that pathway and backing the coach if it's a good coach. And now they're a team. It's probably one of the best PSG teams that I've probably seen. You know,
everyone's lauding them. Everyone's talking about how good they are. And actually, he said as well, we will, I think in his quotes after I read, he said, Enrique said, we will play our way of football regardless of what pitch we're on. You know, is someone sticking to his principles. He didn't start off well, but he had to change it all, you know. Doué was really good when he came on as well. Absolute live wire. I couldn't get near him. So again, that young production of young, you know, French players or players who have played in the league, you know, and obviously they're PSG, so they're able to, you know, swipe up any talent they want from the league that's doing well, whether they're French or not. It's just young. But you look, like I said, I look across that front line. It's very good. It's very good. Shout out Ryan from United Stand. He says that Dorgu will be joining Ruben today in the presser, so they're probably there now. That's why, so they know that who's going to be in the presser. So we'll get to hear from old Dorks, in the presser today. See what he says. Obviously, he's allowed to play again before his last game against the match ban on the weekend against Leicester. He won't be able to play after that red card against Ipswich Town. Ash says Amorim needs to know how to apply a risk-based approach. Implement your desired formation/style when we can, but play in a way you know will get a win. Well, the problem is Ruben spoke about it. He says, and this is a quote, he says, I have one idea. You can say that's a bad thing because you're just telling all the other coaches he ain't going to be able to adapt. He's only got one way of playing. That's fine. But this is my idea. I will not change my idea. So his vision of, how to play to get a win is only this way, which a lot of people do see as a deficiency. Some people see as you got your way of playing. Dwayne says the Red Devils Arena, because at the beginning, look at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They haven't got the naming rights yet. Holding out. I know I've been reading some stuff that Daniel Levy's holding out for big money. Yeah. And you know what he's like. He'll probably get it in the end. But you might have a default name until that. So it could be called the Red Devils Arena. Could be called the Man United Arena or United Arena.
New Trafford,
New Trafford, yeah, exactly. Ray Carl Brown says, to be fair, watching PSG, how they play football, makes you realise United can't do anything what PSG did to Liverpool.
I think to Liverpool.
The way we play, exactly. I agree. And to finish off, James Ducker from Telegraph is also saying that Ruben can't wait. He's desperate to get and keep Mason Mount fit, as he views him as an ideal fit for one of the number 10 roles in his system, which of course he does. I mean, he said that. He said he really likes the kid. I think he's excellent. He said he was really full of praise for Mason Mount early on.
Yeah. Well, and so people that have been looking after him, Flex, they're going to be going too, because of course, Manchester United's head of medical services, Gary O'Driscoll, is set to leave the club after 18 months in the role. He only moved to United in September 2023 from Arsenal, where he'd occupied the same role for 6 years. There's another club doctor's leaving as well to take up a new opportunity. Both O'Driscoll and Moxon will remain in their positions during this transitional period, while United search for their respective successors to ensure minimal interruption to the medical support available at the club. The timings of their departures is coincidental, and both are unrelated to the latest round of staff redundancies that Manchester United are planning. Now, the O'Driscoll one actually was a little bit surprising because, of course, he had been tasked with this whole massive overhaul, hadn't he, of the Man United medical department, which, as many people sort of point out, I'm not really sure what's happened, but that was I still think that was pre-INEOS. September 2023 is pre-INEOS, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So maybe it's still a case of, like they said, it's not because of redundancies, but also it might be a case of they might be like, well, we're bringing our own people,
Yeah, just a refresh again. Shout out James and the Muppeteers. He, broke this first
to break the story. Yeah.
First to break the story. So big up to James at the Muppeteers. And obviously Laurie, bigged him up as well from the Athletic, saying after Muppeteers. So James gets his credit there. And James is also saying, not linked to the redundancies and the cuts, etc., etc. I mean, what do we really feel as fans? I mean, for me personally, I'm just like, these are the things. Again, it's like, that's not, do what you have to do, get the right doctors,
do what you
need to do. Just get us a better injury record, man. But who's it going to be? Is it going to be Dr. Andre? We're going to get Dr. Andre in there.
Oh, imagine
that. Get a little inside there. Dr. Andre right there. Speaking about, it was there. Speaking about the Ahmad situation. So, there's an injury update out right now with Dr. Andre. Make sure you check that out as well on the channel, and that will be out on the socials as well, so you can see that. Very good breakdown of the injury that Ahmad sustained. But yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait and see who they get in. I'm just like, just get the players fit. Just get the players fit, man. Do you know what I'm saying? There you go. Any more super chats? We're good. No, we're done. Guys, big up to you. We will have a match preview coming out very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Full view later on tonight as well. So loads going on.
Full view. I've been contacted. I will leave it at that.
No.
Yeah, I've been contacted. Yeah.
Say no more.
Contact has been made.
Say no more, Owen. Okay. Well, at least contact has been made.
Yes.
There has been initial talks.
Yeah, monitoring FC.
Tracking. Yeah, tracking, monitoring.
Yeah.
And Ray S says, if Man United announced they're planting an apple tree, it will be classed as spin. Not everything is spin. Love or hate INEOS. Oh, good. Right, big up to you guys. Like I say, contact has been made. We will see you later on today with a preview and full view. Take care. We're out. Peace.